Hope you all are doing good today. I want to talk a little Fed here. I was listening to an interview with a guy named Adam and Peter Schiff. If you know who Peter Schiff is they were both on the PBD podcast, Patrick Bet-David guy. And we're talking monetary policy, basically. Peter Schiff, if you know who he is. I've never heard of this Adam guy before, but pretty good points he made on there. And Pete's the big gold guy. He's always doom and gloom, but he's huge on metals. He loves silver and gold so much. But basically the point they were making is this. They're reviewing a little clip from an interview Trump did with Fox News where he's talking about the economic growth of the United States here in the near future. Trump comes out and says, we're aiming for 15%, discussing the new Fed chair, Warsh, this guy that's going to replace Powell here soon. And Trump's saying, we're aiming for 15. Let's go for 15% growth. Why aren't we growing at 15%? I read a couple of the comments, and one guy said, why not 1,000,000%? I don't want to get too deep into it, but it is a funny thing about I don't want to get too technical because I don't want to just make them say it the wrong way. But basically what I'm trying to say is economy is a scale, like how our economy, the United States economy, biggest economy in the world, is how large it is as far as GDP, the debt associated with it, and all these things. It's a similar problem with the stock market and capitalism. It's an argument against the capitalistic system in general, at least the stock side of it, the shareholder capitalism type thing. Once something gets so big, you can't keep growing exponentially forever just because you'll outpace everything else. It's just like a function of the compounding effect. The United States being the biggest economy, if we grow at 15% every year for the next 10 years, then what? We've literally, every other economy is 1% of the world economy. The United States is 99%. It's impossible. It's an impossibility. Adam, the other guy on this podcast, broke it down pretty well where he says, hey, 15% actual is not, I don't think, what Trump's saying. He's talking more nominal. And he goes through and breaks down this interesting thing about World War II and the financial policy they pursued during it. Also kind of what they pursued during COVID on the way back from COVID. So the system works. What he's proposing is basically the only way out of the situation we're in is deflate the debt away, which is what we've been trying to do. Immediately I recoil at that, like somebody trying to say that. I get what he's saying, but I do think he's incorrect. I'm no economist. This guy's probably obviously more educated in this specific thing than me by a long shot. The problem is this. If we never fix the underlying problem, we just keep going with status quo and as usual, I don't think we're ever getting out of it. It's just a prolonging effect of hey, we could make it better short term and then it'll get better. It'll get worse again. It's the same thing, this boom bust cycle the U.S. economy is set up in. But he's basically saying, hey, we're going to run it like World War II is basically what he thinks Trump is making the point of saying with this new Fed chair. We're going to drop the interest rates and we're going to run the economy hot. Basically, we're going to grow at 15%. Inflation is going to be 10 to 12%. And we're going to try to outpace the debt by inflating the shit out of the currency, but also supposedly trying to drive wages up by 15%. Problem with this, I think, is staring you right in the face. Like I said, they tried to do this during COVID. We had the 10% inflation numbers while growth exploded back as we recovered the economy we had before, I guess. And that's where we're going to run into the same exact problem. So if you remember 10% inflation, do you feel better now with how much money you make now than you did 5 years ago? Do you feel like you're ahead of the game after that process? Or do you feel net poorer as a result? And most people are going to say net poor. The rich got richer, the poor got poorer, what they call the K-shaped economy, where, you know what I mean? It's two different directions. I don't know how to show it on the camera, but K-shaped. Rich go up, poor go down. It gets worse for you. It's the same thing I've talked about on this channel before, is hey, if you're an asset holder, you benefit from inflation. The dollar goes down, assets explode because they outpace it. You can keep up or stay ahead, and you benefit long term. Now, this guy's argument was, hey, the people who are going to get hurt the worst if we inflate the dollar away and inflate the debt away is bondholders, which are actually the richest part of the economic brackets, I guess, or the people who own bonds and things like this. I don't know. I don't have any direct evidence to refute it here one way or the other, but as far as I understand, certain retirement products and all these kinds of things also hold bonds, and you're going to have regular retired people losing their retirements to inflation, basically, as their fixed income doesn't increase at the same rate, and you just get buried under cost of living. We kind of saw this already. We just saw it, 10%. Over a couple years, we're looking at 30, 40% probably inflation. I mean, how much did house prices go up, car prices, all these major purchases that regular everyday Americans are trying to buy? Through the roof. If that happened again, all right, your house was $200,000. Your cheap house in middle of nowhere, Midwest, was $200,000 or $300,000 before COVID. Post-COVID, it's $500,000. $400,000 to $500,000. Now, do it again. Now your house is $700,000, $600,000, $700,000. Nobody can afford that. While we had 10% inflation, did you get a 10% raise? You get a 30 or 40% raise over the last 5 years? Almost nobody did that. I don't know anybody personally. Me personally, a little weird situation where I've switched jobs and kind of did some other stuff, and it worked out. I've gotten a huge increase in pay over the last 4 years, but I still feel like I'm not really that much more ahead than as I thought I would be for increasing my pay. My base pay coming out of college, starting my career, was around $63,000, I think, $30 an hour. What's that ever come? $62,000 a year, something like that. Yeah, I think that's right. 64,000, something like that. Low 60s. Now I'm at 93, so 50% raise, and I don't feel all that much benefit out of it somehow. It's like, where'd all the fucking money go? Cost of living's doubled. They say it's 30%, 20%. Dude, it's probably 50% if you don't use the cooked government numbers that we're looking at here. So that's his point. I get what he's saying is like, hey, we're gonna drag down the richest, the upper 10%. We're gonna drag them down, and supposedly the lowest people are gonna be able to keep up with their wages. You're not getting your wages inflation adjusted. It never happens. It's just not. It's not a reality. It would work if that's what actually happened, but that's not what will actually happen. And then Schiff over here is making the point that you do that, everybody gets crushed. The rich get poorer, the poor get poorer. Who's hurt more by that? Obviously the poor people. So it's a lose-lose situation. I tend to agree with him more. I don't tend to agree with this guy very much when it comes to economics, just because he's, like I said, he's all about the gold. He doesn't care about anything else. He's just, give me more gold, apparently, which, hey, in recent times it would have paid off for him well. The thing he was mentioning is basically the counterpoint to this Adam guy is that, hey, inflation eats away all gains and everybody loses, and the end result will be an economic crash, which I think is what's actually most likely. And people in the comments are kind of like, hey, well, what's the solution then? The real solution is the government quits spending so much fucking money. That isn't a solution they are willing to entertain. That's always the solution. That's always been the solution. They have to cut back, let the economy grow while also cutting back the government. Not going to happen. It's just not going to happen. The only way this corrects is, like I said, the boom bust cycle we go through. We've run up everything. Stocks are all-time highs. Everything's at all-time highs. And we go through a 2008 and asset values crash by 40%, 50%, depending on what it is. And people get laid off. The people who don't get laid off win the game. That's all it is. And the richest people, they make money on both ends because they'll make money on the way down if they're smart. And the middle to upper, who just have big retirements and don't actively pay attention, they'll win out if they hold on to their retirements, and they'll lose out if they panic and sell and live beyond their means too hard. And if everything goes to shit, I don't know what to tell you. I think the real solution, the only solution, and it's not a real solution because it's just pain for everybody basically, is economic crash. That's what's happened historically. Will it happen again? I don't know when. Most likely, I think it will. Who's to say? I think we're teeing off for it pretty well right now with, jobs numbers just came out recently. stock market reacted like negatively to them for some reason. I haven't honestly paid enough attention to tell you one way or another why. And hey, new Fed chair is going to come in. He's going to slam the rates down. At least that's what they're claiming is the plan as of right now. Hey, all I got to say is if you're a person like me who bought a house in the last couple of years after rates had already went back up, basically, missed out on the low COVID rates, just get some money ready, get a couple thousand ready to refinance the house at the lowest rate you possibly can and live within your means and hope that you're not drowning in debt where you lose a job and you lose everything because of it. Because that was another point the guy's making is basically, hey, the debt, to get rid of the debt, to inflate the debt away is one thing. And he was saying, hey, the low income people all live under a bunch of debt, and by deflating the debt away, that helps them. It's like, yeah, well, if by deflating, inflation explodes and growth explodes, hopefully they would be keeping their job in that case. But what makes you think they're not just going to go get more debt? Which is like, hey, that's their personal choice. They can do whatever they want. Screw their life up. That's up to them. But that doesn't solve the debt crisis. When they just lowered rates like that, housing inventory dipped way lower than it's ever has in the past because everybody can afford a house now because the rates are so low, and then the prices explode. People buy a bunch of new cars, people buy a bunch of new shit because it's affordable to them now because the monthly payments within their reach. And it'll happen again. If they drive the rates down again, it will happen again. Maybe not as bad because I think we're in an economic situation right now where it's like it's just not physically possible. People don't have enough money as they did running into COVID like that. But we shall see one way or the other. I don't know. If you guys got something out of the video, I'm going to link the PBD podcast thing in there. If you find any interest in it, go watch it. Like I said, it was pretty interesting to me. And if you didn't dislike the video, let me know why. And I'd appreciate it if you subscribe, come back. We're here every day making random videos about whatever topic I listen to, find out about the day of that we're following, and talk about it on the way home. So I'll catch you guys tomorrow.